Well, that was an absolutely phenomenal bowl game between Notre Dame and Penn State. But unfortunately for Penn State, they were defeated. And now it is time to focus on NFL draft prep. And that is where we come in. The San Francisco 49ers will be drafting number 11th overall, which puts them in range to get one of these guys. Can we get two? Somehow, Johnny Lynch, can you pull some draft day magic and somehow, some way, get it in? I don't know. I don't know. Can we do this? I would love to figure that out. But when you look at Abdul Carter, let's start there. We'll get to Tyler Warren in a second. But he is already slotted to be a top 10 draft selection. So the 49ers might already be out of range. But if the 49ers somehow find a way to maybe get up, maybe, I don't know. This guy just is too good of a prospect. I've seen enough. He's 6'3", 259-pound junior out of Penn State. He has been fantastic. He had 11 sacks on the season, 5 sacks last year, and in 2022, he had 7. So this is a guy who consistently gets after the pass rusher. And as we've seen, he has a whole bag of pass rushing moves. He's a 4.4 40 guy. So I'm really, really excited to see what he could look like. 63 tackles, 40 of them being solo. He is a absolute stud and was on full display during this bowl game. I'd already seen a bunch of clips. I've already watched a bunch of his, but man, you watch him live and you really get a sense of how good he is. And he kind of fits the mold of exactly what I've been looking for a defensive end on the opposite side of Nick Bosa. Now, the 49ers went with Leonard Floyd. I don't mind the addition of Leonard Floyd, but I'm trying to get the younger version of Leonard Floyd. I'm trying to get the blue chip speed demon off the edge, and I have been looking for this guy for a long time. You guys know I'm a big Brian Burns fan, so I've been just constantly looking for that next prospect that can give me some of the same attributes that Brian Burns gives, which is pure speed off the edge, phenomenal hand moves, spin moves, rip moves, everything. Speed around the edge, counter inside. I want it all. And Abdul looks like a guy who can provide that. And so who knows? I know he's dealing with a bit of a shoulder. So we'll see where he ultimately goes. But he probably is just going to continue to solidify himself as one of the top prospects in this class. He might be completely out of reach, but I don't know. If there's a will, there's a way. And I would just love to see the San Francisco 49ers get their hands on him. And, you know, if you can get a interior defensive tackle in free agency to bolster that part of the defensive line, and you add this guy with Floyd on the other side of Nick Bosa, man, that could really be a formidable defensive line. And I've told you guys, I understand. Offensive line, we want to fix that. I've looked at some of the offensive line prospects. Will Campbell right now seems like the leader in the clubhouse for me for the potential pick at number 11. But if you can get your hands on one of these defensive tackles like a Mason Graham or an Abdul Carter, right now I'm probably leaning more towards defensive line than offensive line. And I think it's a win-win if you draft in the trenches in the first round. I really do think that's got to be the case. But I also want to see, could the 49ers somehow get Warren? And I'm fascinated. I think obviously for them to get Warren, it might be a challenge because he seems like he's going to be a first round tight end. I mean, 6'6", 257 pounds. He had 98 receptions, over 1,100 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. The kid is a freak. He'd probably be putting up these similar numbers in the NFL right now. So he's another guy where you see the talent. It just absolutely jumps off the screen. He's just a baller. And again, when you think of George Kittle and you think of what Kittle brings to the table, he seems like he would fit that mold. And of course, you could dream about 2 tight end sets. The 49ers bring that back. And of course, he would be the eventual replacement for George Kittle when it's all said and done. But a lot of things to consider. But for right now, with where we are at being January, let me dream a little bit. It might be very, very realistic that the 49ers don't get either one of these guys, but let me dream. Let me dream a little bit because it is the start of draft season and we're just getting into it. These are 2 prospects that, they've been this is not a secret to anyone. If you follow college football, even in the slightest, you know who Abdul Carter is and Tyler Warren. So it's not like I'm unearthing any kind of secret gems or anything like that. But they're certified. These guys are dogs. Like these guys are legit prospects. These are legit going to be NFL impact players, both of them, and it's insanely apparent. And when prospects can show you that, when prospects show you that they are certified NFL players, like can't miss prospects, it's when you get really excited, right? So, I would love to see the 49ers do whatever they can to get their hands on them. How realistic is that? No clue. But could you just imagine? Again, what gets me so excited for this offseason is how do the 49ers rebuild the trenches? That has got to be the number one. It has got to be. I have made excuses for them. I have said, you know what? I know their philosophy. I know they're not going to take offensive line high, most likely. They're going to build it this way, get an offensive lineman in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. They did that last year and hit gold with Dominic Pooney. So, but at the same time, it's got to be O-line, D-line. They have to. O-line, D-line in the 1st round. It has to be someone that is going to be plug and play. Ideally, plug and play. Defensive line, I am leaning defensive line right now. Even as the offensive lineman guy, I am still leaning toward, and if you can get me an edge, whoo, boy, God, guys, like I have been clamoring for a elite speed edge rusher on the opposite side of Nick Bosa for ever since D Ford wasn't able to play for the 49ers. So I've been dreaming for a long time. And if you can get within range, I don't know, maybe someone's like, you know what, we want to fall back. And Abdul Carter's there and they offer up a reasonable price for the 49ers to jump up and snag them. Hey, I'm open to it. I am absolutely open to it. The 49ers, I believe, are anticipated to have 10 draft picks in this class. So some extra ammo. Who knows? Maybe some players and contracts that they want to get away from. We'll find out. But man, get me one of these guys. John, help us out. Let me know what you guys think about these guys in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe from Rep.